Yes, welcome back to FHTV Plus. Today, joined by Callum from Kopish. How are we doing, man? You all good?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
I'm good. I've got you fresh off the back of a Merseyside derby. I wouldn't say a convincing win, but 3 points, 12 points clearing the table, which makes it quite funny, Callum, because I sent you, we've been trying to get this going for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I said to you, send me a quote. Like, let's talk about a quote about Arne Slot and about Liverpool. And at the time, it was Arne Slot cracks in his leadership, and it was, I think that this was kind of after the Newcastle game, after the PSG game.
PSG,
Before we get into that, talk to me briefly for a few minutes about this season. What were your expectations going into it? Have you surpassed those expectations? Are there disappointments that you've kind of won the league really early, but then not kicked on in anything else? Is that greed? Talk to me about it.
Oh, it's a tough one. So going into the season, if I'm going to be completely transparent, I thought we'd finish third in the league. I thought I thought Arsenal would win, City would come second, we'd come third. When Rodri went down with the injury, I came out straight away and was like, look, Rodri's world class. He's the best DM in the world. I think City finished third, and I think we finished second to Arsenal.
Okay.
Never in my wildest dreams, especially off the back of last season and the fact we only added Chiesa, never in my wildest dreams did I think Liverpool would win the league, and never did I think we'd win it in such convincing fashion. Massive credit has to go to Arne Slot. Klopp obviously helped build the squad. Not help build, he built the squad. So we'll always be like thankful to Klopp for leaving such a good foundation, but Slot has taken it to a whole nother level. And I hope he gets the recognition and the adulation that he deserves, because to win the league in your first season with a team that you're new to, where virtually no additions, and you've walked the league, I don't think that should go under the radar. That being said, though, we have seen some of its inexperiences shine through, especially in the Champions League. When we got to the last 16, he was the most inexperienced manager, pretty much, if I'm not mistaken. And it showed across the two PSG games. And look, I can live with going out to PSG because they're in my opinion, the top 5 teams in Europe. It's annoying because I do think we gave ourselves a good little cushion by winning there. But, you know, it happens. The Newcastle game frustrates me more because we got bullied on the pitch. We got outworked, and that doesn't really happen to us. If we lose, it's because of quality mistakes, the normal football stuff. But to be out-bullied and outworked, that frustrated me. But then I look at the fact of, okay, he wasn't really given many resources in the summer to add to the team. So I give him a pass there. The Plymouth game annoys me because no matter what team we put out, we should be going further than losing to Plymouth. But as far as the first season goes, SAVVA, I can't fault the guy. Like, to go from Klopp, who was such an integral part of the community, the ethos, and the club, to again going to Slot, who, let's be honest, has had the biggest boots to fill of any Liverpool manager in my lifetime. And in his first season, he's filled those boots. However, what I will say, next season is going to be a massive test for him across the board.
Yeah, look, we'll get into that because obviously we'll talk about a few players that might be heading out, etc. But like, I think, you know, I was speaking to a Liverpool mate of mine who's not on YouTube. He's not crazy enough to be on YouTube. But he said that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It doesn't get any abuse ever. It's lovely. And he was saying, look, he said it's almost like Liverpool kind of had the title wrapped up very early. Like Liverpool was so far in front, and he said that even he got carried away, and a lot of fans were starting to talk about, hang on. This isn't just going to be a league. This is going to be the quad. This is going to be a treble. We've got Plymouth in the cup. That's a pass. And PSG aren't as good as they used to be. But all of these different things. Is that concerning for you that, in the Premier League where it's BAU, you know, you've lost one game all season? As we sit here today, you've lost one game. Yeah. But Plymouth, Newcastle, PSG, he could have made some real history, couldn't he? And it felt like he got it very wrong in all 3. For me, as an outsider, I don't have invested interest in your club, but it felt like, to me, he didn't get the balance right against Plymouth. As you said, Newcastle, it was just like you guys weren't up for it. So when we talk about cracks in leadership, is that where maybe he's not been able to inspire them in the big moments away from the league?
I think in the Plymouth game, I put that more down to the players because we had enough on that pitch to beat Plymouth, with all due respect to Plymouth. But on the day, they absolutely deserved to go through. And I have no ill will towards Plymouth. They deserved it. They beat us fair and square. There's no controversy around it.
They did it for Rooney.
Yeah, literally. The PSG first leg, again, I can take on the chin because you're away from home, but we got absolutely battered that day. And were it not for Alisson's heroics, we could lose that game 3-4, 5-0.
Yeah.
We sneak away with a 1-0 will. Like the most smash and grab game I've ever seen Liverpool play, and we get a 1-0 win. Yeah. So then that gives you a little bit of confidence. But the second game, we go 1-0 down. We could have had a couple of goals in the first 10 minutes, didn't capitalize on that. Konza hits the post in the second half. But apart from that, PSG did control that game, and they looked like the team that was always going to win. That frustrated, but the Newcastle one's the big one, man. It's a cup final. You got to be able to, and look, it wasn't just the fact of us getting bullied and outworked. It was the fact that he was making tactical decisions that weren't correct, like McAllister marking Dan Burns, for example. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you look at the fact of not bringing on Chiesa before you brought on Gakpo when Gakpo's not fit, but you bring on Gakpo first, and then you look at Chiesa's finish and think maybe could have been different. It was just a weird game. But in terms of cracks in his leadership, I wouldn't go that far yet. In fact, I wouldn't go that far at all. Like I think he's done so many things that have been so good. And look, I know I look at Liverpool through a microscope as opposed to yourself, SAVVA. But like things like dealing with the contract situations, when there's been little bust ups and when there's been little controversies, he's dealt with it so calmly and so measured that it puts us as fans in a very relaxed mode. And your friend who's not doing YouTube, he's right. Like, I called it when we beat West Ham. I think it was the 29th of December. I was like, yeah, league's done. And it wasn't even from a place of arrogance. It was just like, we'd have to have such a capitulation and Arsenal have to be perfect. That is just not going to happen. We've seen this play out before. So for us to win it that early, again, credit has to go to the manager because he's kept the players focused. He's kept them on job. Over the last month or so, form has been really bad. And as you said, that Merseyside derby, bro, like we weren't good in that game, but we did get a win. Bit of magic. But I do have trust in him. Like until he breaks my trust, I've got a lot of trust in Slot.
Well, look, I want to come at this from another angle then. I want to talk about the whole situation, which is it's almost clouding how well you've done in the league. Now, listen, you've been on a panel with me before. I don't think it's been a great Premier League season. I think it's been a nice season for Slot to come into, but we don't take anything away from winners. You can't. Right? It's pointless. But this situation with Van Dijk, with Trent Alexander-Arnold, and with Mo Salah really feels like that is what the media are focusing on. That is what us as content creators, it feels like that is the main thing at Liverpool rather than, hey, Slot's won a title in his first season. How detrimental is this ongoing situation with all three players? And how has it got to this stage where three top players, the three best players, in my opinion, at Liverpool, could all leave, giving Liverpool nothing? Surely that's criminal, right? Surely.
It's beyond criminal, bro. In terms of detriment to the team, touch wood, it hasn't affected us on the pitch. I can imagine it's caused some issues off the pitch for Slot, for the players, and for Richard Hughes, who's the sporting director. Now, I'm glad it hasn't affected anything on the pitch, although we don't know what's going to happen because with what came out with Trent, we don't know if that's going to have a knock-on effect with the fans. If he plays again this season, how that all unfolds. My frustration with it all is I think it's not even about losing them for free. It's just losing them full stop, SAVVA, because there's been no planning. So everyone keeps on going on about, and this might be a really unpopular opinion. I might get chewed up in the comments for it, but I'm just going to speak how I feel about it.
You're a YouTuber. You must know this feeling.
Yeah, I know how this goes.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be getting on Trent for saying, oh, he's leaving on a free. If Trent had left in the summer for a fee, people would still get onto him. It's not about him leaving for a fee. It's the fact that we as Liverpool fans saw him as the next Steven Gerrard. So him leaving in any capacity, whether you get 100, 200 or 0, it still hurts. We're allowed to be hurt. But I don't think the abuse, like calling him a rat and things like, I don't think that's justified yet. And the reason I say yet is because we don't know what the ambition of the club is. We don't know what's been said behind the scenes. We don't know what negotiations have been like. And you're looking at Virgil and Salah, and Trent's 26 years old. He's going into his prime years now. These are the years where he looks at and goes, look, I want to be winning stuff. I saw my hero, Steven Gerrard, stay at Liverpool and not win enough based on his talent. Do I want to do that if we lose Salah on a free and Virgil van Dijk on a free? Virgil, in my opinion, is the best centre-back in the world. Salah, in my opinion, is the best right winger in the world. So any player you get to replace those two is a downgrade. It's a massive downgrade. Let's be real. It's a massive downgrade. So if I'm Trent, I'm sitting there going, do I want to be a part of this? But then people sit there and berate Trent. Salah hasn't accepted a contract. Virgil hasn't accepted a contract. Konate's rejected a contract. Luis Diaz, we don't know what's going on with him. So it feels.
Yeah, but you know the difference. You know the difference with Trent. He's one of your own, right?
He is one of our own. We love him.
He's one of your own, and fans cling on to that, don't they? Yeah, fans cling on to that. We had that with Harry Kane. It's kind of like, what do you mean you want to leave? You're Spurs. You're one of us. But they're professionals. They want to go. But sorry, Callum. I get it, right? It's going to hurt either way. But where I was coming from the fact that you might get no money. And obviously, as football fans, we're not accountants. I don't like the finance conversation too much.
I hate it myself.
But there is an element of, if you've suddenly got to replace the best centre-back in the world, the best right winger in the world, and someone like Trent, and you're going, right, we've now got to find the funds for that. Plus, I'm guessing there are other positions in the squad that you still need to address. So where does that money come from? Are FSG going to dip their hand in their pocket for that? I mean, what's going to happen there?
In reality, SAVVA, bro, they should be doing what they need to do, because if you're going to let them leave on a free, then you've got to sort it out. If I don't cook, I've got to buy takeaway, right? Like, so I can't then moan about the price of takeaway. Do you know what I mean? Because I didn't cook, I didn't prepare anything, so I can't then moan about it. So they have to make a decision. We give them new contracts. Maybe we pay more than we want to as a club, but you take that on the chin, or you say goodbye to them, and then you've got to go out and replace them with players, which is a risk. And you've got to spend the money. You can't have your cake and eat it. So this is a massive summer for FSG. And look, I've been FSG out for about 10 years now. And look, I will sit here and I tell you, they deserve to be credited with some things. They gave us our first Premier League trophy in 30 years. They've enhanced the stadium and all those things. They've given us the new training facilities. They kept Anfield when a lot of people would have sold Anfield and built a new stadium. They've done some good things here. Commercially, we're a giant. Revenue-wise, we're making so much money. But if you're doing that, then on the pitch, it should be reflected, right? And if we're making so much money and everyone's saying, look how much money we're making, but on the pitch, we're going, we can only afford Chiesa in the summer, something's not balancing out.
You're preaching to a Spurs fan about owners that don't do anything on the pitch, right? It's all good. I get it. I mean, look, one thing I suppose I didn't ask you at the beginning of this, and I should have. In your opinion, are they all going? Are some of them going? Talk to me about Trent. Let's start with Trent. The news came out the other day, and it was like, he's gone. He's signed the contract. Then it was very quickly a few hours later. No, it's not happened yet. Is Trent going?
I believe he is, yeah. Here's the thing. I don't think Trent wanted to leave in the summer. I think between the summer and now, I think something's gone wrong in terms of negotiating. I actually think Trent would have stayed, but I think something's either gone wrong or his head's been turned, or a bit of both, where he's probably gone, look, I don't see the ambition from the club. I'm also not getting paid what I believe I'm worth. I can go to Real Madrid and I can win trophies and get paid what I want. So that there could be an element of that. In terms of Virgil and Salah, they've come out numerous times saying they want to stay at the club, they want to retire at the club. So that for me is more concerning than Trent, who has not spoken about his situation. And Trent's been very consistent from the beginning. He said, I'm not going to speak about my future in the public. I'm going to do it behind closed doors out of respect for the club. Virgil and Salah have come out numerous times saying they want to stay. They still don't look like they're staying. That suggests to me the board are going, we're going to move you on.
But isn't there? I mean, look, playing devil's advocate, because for me, again, you don't want to lose players. I've always said Virgil van Dijk for me is a Rolls Royce. You don't find them. For me, I think there's maybe one centre back in the world I reckon I would put in that bracket for me, and that would be someone like Rudiger, who is again not going to leave Real Madrid. You don't leave Real Madrid if you're in your peak, do you? There's no need. Is there an element here of the age factor? I mean, I'm guessing as a business, and I know this goes against what I've just said, but as a business, they have to look and go, well, hang on, they're both what, 33, if I'm not wrong?
Salah 32, Virgil 33.
33. They've got to look and go, right, well, how much are we going to pay 33-year-olds? What if this is their peak? What if next season we get them on massive contracts for 3 years and then suddenly Mo Salah doesn't get the GA output? Virgil van Dijk loses that yard of pace and that kind of concentration. Just playing devil's advocate. Do you reckon there's a bit of that on there as well?
100%. But every contract in football is a risk, and some obviously less than others. The reason why I'm fine giving Salah big money is because from a commercial standpoint, he brings in so much money into the club. And even when we look at that, I think, let's say Salah signed a 3-year deal and next season he didn't have a good season, and we as a club said, look, we've got to move him on. We could still sell Salah and get a fee from Saudi, for example, easily.
Sure.
Virgil, slightly different, but I still think you could get a fee for Virgil, even though it's not a high fee. But then again, off the pitch, you look at their leadership, their inspiration abilities, and I don't think you can necessarily sometimes put a price on that either, because if you lose Salah and Virgil and Trent, you're losing your captain, vice captain, and your most influential attacker since Luis Suarez. I mean, to lose those three in one summer is criminal, bro.
But for the last 3-4 minutes, I want to talk the knock-on effect. If you did, again, as YouTubers, as creators, we always play the hypothetical game, right? It's a great game to play. I have hypotheticals all the time about what if Spurs sign Isak and Lionel Messi. But, in a hypothetical world where you could lose all three, what's the detrimental effect to Liverpool moving forward, Callum? Because we just said, you can't, I don't care, you can't replace those goals immediately. You could get a good player, you could get a good defender, but those two especially, how do you replace them, and what will the knock-on effect be to Liverpool from a kind of league position, and maybe the rest of the players looking and going, shit, what we've just lost our 3 best players.
It might be a case for Salah, you go and get 2 players and try and replace his output with 2 players. For Virgil, I don't know, but as we said, the market is horrible for centre-backs, because not that there aren't good centre-backs out there, but those good centre-backs are already established at established clubs. So you can't get a Rudiger, you can't get a Saliba, you can't get a Gabriel, you can't get a Bastoni. Like you're looking at your Schlotterbecks, you're looking at your Mark Gahey's, who are good centre-backs, but they're not world class.
They're not Van Dijk.
They're not Virgil. So again, you may even have to look at potentially changing how we play as a team. Maybe drop the line of defense back slightly, and you play with someone more defensive in midfield to give it extra bit of protection. But the adjustment would be crazy. And I'll be honest with you, for me, it would go from a team that's fighting for leagues to a team that's fighting for a top 4.
And let's be fair, if we look at the Premier League table, what that would mean, you're talking about, if you look at Man City, Newcastle in 5th on 50 points, you're on 73. You're talking about a 23-point swing. That's huge.
Look at this, SAVVA. Salah's been responsible for about 60%, 65% of our goals this season. So that's not inconceivable to think that we could have a drop-off like that.
Sure. No, absolutely. Look, it's going to be interesting. I want to end this up. I want to ask you 3 direct questions just to get an answer. We're going to end in 1 minute. One, Liverpool next season, will all 3 of them be there?
No.
Will 2 of them be there?
No.
Will one of them be there?
Unfortunately, not in my opinion.
Wow. All 3 going. Next season, where are Liverpool going to finish?
If all 3 leave, 4th or 3rd.
4th or 3rd. Okay. And next season, can you go one further in competitions like the FA Cup and the Champions League?
Yeah, I think we can win an FA Cup next season.
Cool. Listen, Callum, loved it. Love talking
Always
to
pleasure,
other
brother.
fans of other clubs. It gives me a break from Tottenham Hotspur. For anybody that doesn't know Callum, you will know Callum. If not, why not? You know, Team Kopish. His link's going to be in the chat. Thank you very much to any of his viewers that come over here and watch this. Please like, please subscribe. Callum, good luck for the rest of the season. Not that you need it. I think you've won the league.
Yeah. Before I go, bro, can I just say something?
Okay,
guys, if this is the first time you tune into this channel, SAVVA's a great guy doing great things. You've seen how good he is at interviewing and all that. Support him. Make sure you subscribe and like the video as well.
Oh, I've got to send you a tenner now for that.
Nah.
Thank you for saying that. No, cheers. Really appreciate that. Listen, take care, everyone. I normally finish by saying, and as always, come on, you Spurs, but I'm so deflated with it. And I'm not. Take care. See you later.